All you kids have to do is mount this little GoPro anywhere you want on any part of your body or your bike and capture awesome high-def video.
Seriously, Dad? A Hero 3? It's like hecka old, man.
But back in the day, no. You had to wear all this crap to get really crappy video. And I'm going to show you how it all works. So the first thing you have is the NTSC 480, really high-tech camera for its day. This was sold at helmetcamera.com. Really the only place online at the time to find any sort of helmet cam whatsoever. They sort of evolved these over the years, but pretty much you have two things you need to know about this camera. One, it has a top. It doesn't adjust for being rotated. And two, it needs its own power source. It has to be hooked to a battery. It does not use power from the camera to adjust the focus on the lens. So the first thing you had to do is figure out where to mount this handy dandy little aluminum mounting bracket onto your helmet, and then slide the camera in and orientate it so top was up to get the picture. So that was step one. As soon as you get that figured out, you then had battery leads, which you had to power some gigantic battery. Now this battery is obviously out of my cordless drill. The battery that used to hook to these is about the size of your dirt bike battery. I didn't keep any of them, but they were really, really heavy, old school NiCad batteries, and it really sucked to pack around. A couple years into it, helmetcamera.com figured out that they could make a little AA battery pack, holds 8 AA's. This would plug into the camera to power the lens and you're good to go. So, after you got your power hooked up, this one actually came with a built-in microphone. So the microphone would need to go somewhere near your mouth to pick up any sort of sounds like F words when you crash, or other cool adjectives you might say to fellow riders when you're trying to get by them in the dust, or who knows kind of what. But it was cool. But this was a second generation model. The first generation model was actually a separate microphone which you could clip to your jersey and then plug into the camera. You then have your lines from the camera, which had to plug into a legit old school 8mm camera. So to do that, you had to get the right kind of attachments. You had to plug that into the camera. Then you had to plug that into the helmet camera, which would then mount to your helmet. So there's one other thing though. If you had this all set up on your body, it would record until it ran out of tape. So to be able to stop and start, you had to have a little remote. And the only way this little remote would work is if you had what's called an LANC plug on your camera, which you would then plug into the camera, and then you could stop and start recording as you rode. Okay, so we got our camera, we got our remote, we got our audio wires to the camera, we got the battery pack, plug that into the camera. Let's pretend this has batteries in it. And you take these items and you tuck them into your little bag all fancy, and you tuck in your excess wires, and then you zip your bag up. Okay, so we got our camera up here on the side of the helmet. We got our remote control duct taped to our arm. If you held this button down, you could also shut the camera on my back completely off. And right here, this is the microphone. I just kind of would duct tape that down so that way when you talk, it would pick that up. And that's how the old school helmet camera would go together. Good times in the desert. You kids have it lucky with your GoPros and your Sonys and all this fancy high def, compact, really cool recording equipment. We didn't have any of that. It was this. It was old school. It was the full-on Sony Hi8 camera strapped to your back with a little remote camera strapped to your helmet for some really crappy footage. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Hey everybody, Dirk Delaney here. Hey everybody, Dirk Delaney here.